How to make kimchi. Welcome to Believe It's Not Gluten, the home of amazing recipes for the gluten intolerant. Amazing because no one will know they're gluten free. I'm certainly not an expert in Korean cooking, but I've learned to make one variety of kimchi and found it beneficial for inner health, so that's why I'm sharing it here. Basically what you're doing is allowing salt to ferment cabbage and vegetables and chilli, which then produces heaps of healthy bacteria. So with your Chinese cabbage, remove any discoloured leaves, cut it into quarters and remove the cores, and then chop it into 3 to 4 centimetre slices. Repeat that with all the cabbage and put it into a large pot or bowl. Then you need to wet the cabbage so the salting system works properly, so cover it with water and break up any chunks of cabbage so everything's wet, and then drain off the water. I just use a big pot for this and use the lid to drain it. You don't have to get it perfectly well drained, just get most of the water off. Then comes the salt. This is Korean sea salt, but any sea salt will do. So sprinkle half a cup of salt over the wet cabbage and mix it in a little with your hands. Then set that aside and leave it for 30 minutes. Next we make the kimchi paste. So 1 cup of cold water in a medium saucepan, tip in the glutinous rice flour, stir it over medium heat, then add the sugar here too, and keep stirring until the flour has dissolved. Then you bring it to the boil, and as it boils it will become really thick and translucent. Once that happens, just simmer it for another 1 or 2 minutes to cook the flour, and then set it aside to cool. Then you can start getting the other veggies ready. So peeled and grated ginger and garlic. Peel your radish if you're using that. Or get ready for your julienne leeks and carrots and slices of spring onions. If you're using radish, you can julienne it or grate it. Grating it in a food processor is the easiest way to do it. Then you put the radish or carrots or leeks, if you're using them, in a bowl and sprinkle with 1½ tablespoons of the sea salt. These veggies just need the salt for 15 minutes, then tip them into a sieve to rinse off the salt. 30 minutes after salting your cabbage, mix it around again with your hands to spread the salt more evenly. Then leave it another 30 minutes and then mix again. And then leave another 30 minutes. So that's 1½ hours in total for the cabbage and salt, with mixing it around every 30 minutes. And by now the paste you made earlier has cooled, so add the other ingredients, the red pepper flakes, fish sauce, salted shrimp, garlic and ginger, and mix well. Then add the drained vegetables, the radish and any other vegetables you're using, and mix again. Then once the cabbage salting time is complete, rinse it in cold water at least 3 times to rinse off the salt. Start with draining off the liquid that's collected in the bottom of the pot first, as this will be very salty. Then fill the pot with water, drain it, fill it with water again and drain, and repeat that once more. After the last time, just let it sit for 5 minutes for excess water to drop to the bottom of the pot, and drain that off as well. Then I usually put the cabbage into the container I'm going to store it in, so I save on washing up, but you could use any large bowl. I usually try to do about 3 layers of cabbage with paste in between each one, just to make it easier to mix around. Then mix it around as best you can. This was an extra large cabbage, so there's really a bit much for this bowl, and this amount of paste, but it will still be okay. Once done, put the airtight lid on and leave at room temperature for 2 to 4 days until fermentation has taken place. The juice will taste as if it's been made with vinegar when it's fermented. Just keep tasting it each day until you get the normal tangy, vinegary taste of pickles. In winter it seems to take us about 4 days. The next day I usually open it up just to give it another stir around in case I didn't get it properly mixed at first. By this time it's shrunk down a lot and it's much easier to manage the mixing. And here it is after 4 days of fermentation, much juicier than before. Not very red. You can add more chilli if you like extra chilli. I don't like it too hot, so I leave it as it is. Once you're happy, store it in the fridge and the fermentation will stop. So give it a go. Please head to our blog for the recipe and give it a try. And if you like this, please subscribe to our channel below and give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and believe it, it's not gluten.